Today we talk all about responsibility. Responsibility being one of the most important things that a man can take in his life. You take responsibility for your mind, for your emotions, for your actions, for your family, for your finances, for your business. You take responsibility for everything that happens so that you have a direct impact into its outcomes. Let's get into it. Welcome to the R.Y.S.E Movement Podcast, a place where men just like you learn to raise your standards everywhere. Welcome to another episode of the R.Y.S.E Movement Podcast. I'm Dave, and in this episode, we're talking about responsibility and how responsibility can be embodied in your life. I'm going to start with pre-framing this. My family and I are going through some stuff, like I've said in a bunch of episodes now. It's been happening for a couple of months, and we're doing counseling. We're doing all the things necessary to make sure that we can keep ourselves afloat. I had a counseling appointment last week that was profound. My counselor and I worked through some amazing things. We dove into one major topic that I'm going through at the moment, and that is I'm choosing to disown my current last name. I'm disowning my father. I'm disowning that whole lineage. Last time I spoke about taking responsibility and being the light in the darkness and stuff like that, and choosing to be the one who ends generational trauma, the one who is the cycle breaker. This is a massive piece for me. So I'm going to try and get through it. I'm going to try and get through it without getting emotional, even though it's a massively charged topic for me at the moment. I'm trying to illustrate what responsibility looks like. When you are the cycle breaker for your family, when you're the one who steps up to the plate and says, it ends right here. It ends with me. I say enough. I can't do this anymore. I can't see the hurt. I refuse to put up with anything less than what I choose. So going into it last week with my counselor, we had some deepening questions and stuff like that to be able to get me to go down into my unconscious, to seek through that which I didn't want to look at. And she asked me a really powerful question after a bunch of other questions. And she said, what is the real reason you want to create a new last name, create a new lineage? And I said to her, it comes back to the compass. And I'll read exactly what I said. Because it's not the changing the last name, creating a new lineage and starting a, quote unquote, a brand new family that I'm the head of, that it starts and stops with me sort of thing. I do this not for myself. I do it for my fiance when she takes my name when we get married. I do it for my children so that they have a powerful last name that they can depend upon, that they can rely upon, but also future generations. Also, anyone else that marries into the family, anyone that is born from the family, from marriage, they know that this family, whilst it might not be theirs by blood, it can be theirs by choice. It can be theirs by a powerful understanding and choice that they are marrying into something that stands for something great. So here's what I said. The last name that I choose is their North Star. Even at the darkest of times, they can find their way home. It is their compass to find their way home. I know that might not mean much to a lot of you guys out there. However, having that North Star, having that place where you can always find home and find your path, even at the darkest of times, at the darkest of nights, you need a rock. You need something to be able to depend upon. You need somewhere to be able to know that this is home and this is safe. What I'm doing by doing all that I do this for my family. I do this to be able to create that anchor point where they can always depend upon it, where dad is always going to be the exact same, where granddad is always going to be the exact same, where they can have this place of safety and security and almost a sanctuary where they are accepted, where they are loved, where they can be nurtured and developed and fed and all these other wonderful things. Like, that's what family means to me. And so creating this new middle name for myself and last name for the family This packs a lot of weight for me. This is taking on like ridiculous amounts of responsibility, because this is the last name that's going to be with them for life. Even if they get married, this will be their maiden name. This will be what they were once known of, and they will always be a part of the family. So this packs massive weight for me. It's a huge undertaking that I'm going through. And again, I'm going to take myself out into the forest, probably go out to Springbrook, fast again, only drink water and electrolytes and stuff like that. Go through a journaling practice, go through some self-reflection. If you guys haven't seen it, I put up a video from 2021, when I went out to the forest and I put myself through a pseudo initiation. I was feeling like there was a time for transformation. There was like a bubbling underneath where I needed to remove some old parts of myself and integrate new parts into who I am. And I went out to Springbrook and I meditated. I read this amazing book here. If you guys haven't read it yet, this is amazing. This is so good. This will give you so much insight into yourself. The book here is called King, Warrior, Magician, Lover, and it's by Robert Moore and Douglas Gillette. I read this while I was out. I read that book while I was out in the forest and secluded, removed from the feminine. That's a massive part that you go through an initiation, because as men, like, we're missing that initiation here in the Western world. We're missing that rites of passage where you actually become a man. So I gave myself that pseudo initiation, and I'm about to go through another one. When I choose the last name and I'm taking responsibility for my entire family, for generations that haven't even been born or haven't even been thought of, that's on me. That's my burden to bear. I'm the one, I am, the patriarch of the family. I'm the one who takes care of everyone. That is my burden to bear. That's my cross that I get to carry. And it's meaningful for me. Last episode, we spoke about purpose and meaning and having small achievable goals to be able to make sure that you have some form of meaning if you're feeling lost, if you're feeling stuck. This is my ultimate responsibility. This is my ultimate sacrifice that I take on my shoulders. Much like the R.Y.S.E logo with this shirt that I'm wearing, it's Atlas bearing the world on his shoulders. Because we all know as men what that feels like, to have the world on our shoulders, to have the responsibilities of the finances, of the home, of the food, of keeping our partner satisfied, keeping our partner happy and engaged in the relationship, making sure our children are thriving, making sure our children have discipline and structure and morals and values and beliefs and all these sorts of things. This is what it is to be a man. It is to take the world and put it on your shoulders, the world around you and your family. And it's a worthy burden to bear. It is a necessary burden to bear. And a lot of men are just falling short on it. This is what it means to me, though. I don't want to inject any of my beliefs and values into your guys' world, because it might not be for you. And that's okay. You have to walk your own path. You have to, carry your own burdens and choose what is meaningful for you. Taking responsibility for my whole family, that's mine. And it's a big bear. And yesterday I actually had a down day because of it. I was sitting in my office, sitting right here. Rach was sitting on the chair over there, and I just unloaded on her. I said, I'm fucking tired. I need to go through this transformation. I need to get something happening. I need something massive to change, because I feel like I'm at wit's end at the moment. I've had a few down moments. I've had a few low moments where, negative mental health has stepped in and stuff like that. But I know it's just a phase. One of my favorite sayings, this too shall pass. And so when I unloaded on her and she held space for me, she offered a few solutions of what we can look at, and then we need to take action on it. I know that something is just around the corner. I can feel it. I've been through this transformation process that many times, and I know, again, it's time for me to upgrade. It's time for me to raise new standards. It's time for me to embody those new standards and to take massive amounts of action. It's just coupled simultaneously with the same time where I'm going through a physical transformation, because I'm putting myself through the 8 weeks to a new man program with all of the men that are joining me. I'm studying the book Think and Grow Rich. I'm doing all of these things again for a massive life transformation. I don't do things in halves. I'm not here to fuck around. I'm taking 100% responsibility for all aspects of my life, for every area of my life. That's my burden to bear, for my family, for everyone around me. I have to be the best version of me. And if that involves me going through some pain, going through some turmoil, having a look at the things that I don't want to look at, having a look at all of the aspects of my psyche, all of the results that I'm getting or not getting, and then do something about it. That's what I'm about to embark on. And I have apprehension inside of me. I'm nervous. I'm almost a little bit afraid of what's going to happen because I know the undertaking that I'm about to go through. I know what it's like to sit there on the precipice of jumping off the cliff and making that big plunge. And it's hard, it's daunting. I'm looking at this abyss in front of me going, I don't know how far down it is. I don't know where I'm going to land. I don't know if I'm going to fall short. That's, a bit of shadow there that's come up. These are all the things that you have to reconcile with, because we all go through these emotions. We all go through these experiences and thoughts that run through our mind saying, am I man enough to be up to the task? And that's what it is to take responsibility. You look at all the things that you don't want to look at. That same Carl Jung quote again, that which you seek is where you least want to look. Taking responsibility for all aspects of your life, your finances, your health, your wealth, your relationship, everything. That's on you. And a lot of those things, like we spoke about last episode, talking about, small goals and taking responsibility, finding meaning, finding purpose, that's on you. And it's a daunting undertaking. I don't take this lightly. Neither should you. When it comes to responsibility is your ability to respond. When you have the choice to react versus respond, there's a beautiful little gap in between the stimulus and that reaction or response. That is your choice. That is your time to be able to sit, breathe, and to choose which you want to do. If you go from stimulus, remove the gap, and you have a reaction, you are acting unconsciously. You're acting with whatever your instincts are telling you to do. However, if you have that pause in the middle, you have presence. You have choice. You have the freedom and the ability to respond. That's what responsibility is. The more that you can step back and dissociate from the situation, have an observer perspective, have that overview effect where you're almost like a bird's eye or over the shoulder, or however you do it, you have the ability to see as many options as you choose to see. You give yourself freedom. You give this freedom of expression, freedom of experience, freedom of choice, freedom to respond, freedom of responsibility. And ultimately, the more that you choose responsibility, the more that you choose to take on, the more meaning that you develop in your life. The more purpose that you get to have in your life, the more discipline that you can have, the more that you choose to take on, the greater your life will be. I promise you this. Me taking on all that I take on, my life is fulfilling. It's fucking hard at times. However, it's deeply fulfilling. And that's the biggest thing that most people want, most men want, is a deeply fulfilling life. They want to feel love, they want to feel accepted, they want to feel appreciated, they want to feel respected. But ultimately, they want to have meaning and they want that fulfillment. You want to be able to make sure that you're building a life of fulfillment by taking on your own necessary burden. Don't take on too much. Don't take on more than you can chew. That old analogy that I give from time to time is talking about how do you eat an elephant? And it's bite by bite. You don't want to take off these massive chunks that are going to choke you and suffocate you. And if anything, they're going to crush you. You take on the little bit that you can take on. For some of you guys out there, it might be as simple as, like Jordan Peterson says, clean your room. Clean your room, sort out your things inside of your room. Make your bed, make sure that there's no mess, make sure everything has a place. That might be enough of a challenge for you. That might be enough responsibility for you to be able to start making small steps towards a bigger goal. For some of you guys, it might be starting a business. For others, it might be getting a promotion. For some of you guys, it might actually be getting divorced. That might be you taking responsibility. There's no one right answer when it comes to responsibility. It's all individual because we're all individuals. Sure, we all go through very similar experiences. However, what you choose when it comes to responsibility has to be on your terms. You can't be thrust upon a massive burden, a massive sacrifice, because what if you're not up to the task? What if things, and like a plate analogy here, you've got 8 poles. They've got plates spinning on top of them. What if you're so busy running around spinning the plates that are wobbling, that all 8 plates are wobbling, and you're just constantly going from plate to plate to plate? This is your finances are rocky and wobbling. You're spinning that one up to the best of your ability. At work, you're on rocky terms. There's a chance that you could get fired because of layoffs and stuff like that and budget cuts. You're busy spinning that one, making sure that that's good. Your wife, she's got some stuff going on. She's not feeling underappreciated and overwhelmed. You're constantly spinning that one. The same thing goes for across the board for all areas of life. You need to make sure that you take on as much burden as you can carry, because otherwise you'll get stuck. Otherwise you'll get squashed. And going through that feather, brick and truck analogy, when all the plates are spinning, think of it like bricks getting thrown through your window. You've already missed the feather. You've already missed the tickle, the intuition that says, hey, pay attention to this. You're already in reaction mode where everything is wobbly and you're having to spin plates up. Don't let it go on too long. Otherwise that truck will come through and it'll run you over. And that's where you start from rock bottom. Starting from rock bottom, like I said last episode, is so fucking hard. You need momentum to keep momentum. If you're starting from zero and you need to build, you're starting from no momentum. You're pushing a giant boulder up a hill, and it's tough. It's so challenging. If you choose, like I chose last episode where I spoke about the meaning and the definiteness of purpose of saying, I must do this, I must take this burden on, then you can face the darkness and you can stare into that void, you stare into that abyss comfortably. You do it voluntarily so that you can rise to the occasion. Whereas if you all of a sudden have 8 plates wobbling, bricks getting thrown through your window, and things are starting to fail, things are starting to crumble, and you do it involuntary, or you turn your back on it and you say, no, not my problem, I'm going to dust my hands of this, that's where the truck's coming and you will get run over and you're starting from rock bottom. You know, that might be divorce, that might be illness, injury, that could be disease, that could be death in the family. You never know what's coming around the corner. I sound very bleak when I talk about this, sound very nihilistic. I'd like to think of it more as like a realist perspective. There is always chaos and calamity. There is always pain and turmoil around the corner. Hell, just look anywhere in the world at the moment and you'll see pain, turmoil, trauma, abuse. Like if you choose to look at that, that will be what you look at. That will be your experience. There is pain and turmoil everywhere. However, there is also responsibility, success, love. You know, there's just beauty everywhere as well. One thing that I've been doing lately, taking on a little bit of responsibility as well, is I've been feeding the local magpies and I've been getting so much fulfillment out of it. I filmed a couple of TikToks just for shits and giggles because I've had spare time, and you know, I've gotten like 40,000 views on one video, 35,000 on the other, like hundreds of comments, thousands of likes, and it's fun to interact with people that love magpies. You know, it's just, that's another thing that I chose. It's another thing that I took responsibility for, mainly because I fucking love these birds. It's just a bit of fun for me. Anyway, that's a bit of a digression because I can hear, you know, the beautiful birds sitting in my tree outside, and one just landed on the grass, probably expecting a feed. When you choose responsibility, you choose purpose, meaning, power. You choose to take on this burden that means something to you. And it's a great virtue to be able to teach your children too. Teach them that accepting responsibility shows that they have the ability to be all that they can be. Instead of passing the blame, instead of going, no, it wasn't me, it was my brother, it was my sister. When they accept responsibility and say, yes, this is mine, and you trust your children with responsibility. You say, I want you to do these new lot of jobs, these responsibilities around the house are now yours, and the reason why I'm giving them to you is because I trust you. I trust that you're old enough, mature enough, and responsible enough that you can take this burden, that you can take responsibility for this and do the best of your ability and get it done. Like with my daughter, oldest one, with her, she's just gotten a whole lot of new responsibility. She's 9.5. Her jobs are putting the dishes away, taking the rubbish out, making sure the bins go down on bin day, and the usual thing, like keeping her room clean, making her bed every single day and stuff like that. We told her that there will be new responsibilities soon because she's almost 10 and she's starting to get quite mature. She's starting to grow up. My little baby's growing up. And I said, the reason why we're going to be putting these things on your shoulders is because we trust you. We know the type of person that you are. We've raised the type of person that you are. You have your own beautiful little unique personality. You're very kind, compassionate, and caring. We think that you can do something new, something bigger to the best of your ability. And watching inside of her, there was a bit of hesitation. There was a bit of fear. There was almost a little bit of overwhelm that came up. We expressed through, we communicated through it. And then ultimately, she had a smile on her face. And it was this acceptance, this almost radical acceptance of, yeah, I've got this. One thing that we had a big problem with her before was her self-worth. She had very low self-esteem. She used to get bullied and stuff like that. And so we worked through affirmations to be able to help empower her so that she knows who she is. So that she's cool, calm, and confident. And that's what she is now. She's not very calm. She's quite energetic and loud. However, she's now confident. We went through these affirmations to be able to help her understand that, moving through life, going through finding purpose and meaning, finding her way, building her personality, creating an ego, then, learning how to keep the ego in check and these sorts of things. Like, we've worked with her with that, and we've helped give her affirmations so that she understands how awesome she is. Like the affirmations that I spoke about the other day, it's on the other episode. It's, I'm smart, I'm beautiful, I'm powerful, I'm strong. I can do anything I set my mind to. I'm a genius and I apply myself daily. Like, these are the affirmations that she says to herself over and over and over and over so that she can embody that feeling. So that anything that we give her, that we say, all right, we trust you, you're ready for this new responsibility, go off and do it successfully. Come back to us with any questions and stuff like that. And ultimately, it's so that she can go out into the world and live her life on her terms so that she's left doing what she wants to do in the most disciplined way that she can do it. She's doing really well. It's awesome to reflect upon that. Yeah, that's nice. I'm getting all warm inside thinking about it. Fuck, I love being a parent. Being a dad is just one of the best things. It's one of the best responsibilities that I've taken on. Like I've said about a couple of times now, I decided that the best thing in my life would be a dad when I was like 12 or 13. I think I saw my younger cousins, being little, maybe 9, 10 months old, and the other one was about 2 or 3. And I just saw how fulfilled my older cousin was with these kids. And I was just like, yeah, all I want to do is be a dad. All I want to do is be able to just, unconditionally love these little buggers. Being a dad is one of the greatest responsibilities in your life. Having the ability to choose, that's what responsibility is. Having that ability to choose and respond to your children, to grow, to nurture, to develop, to create discipline, to create boundaries, to help them pick themselves up when they fall, to have uncompromising love and adoration for them. It's one of the greatest responsibilities of life. If you're a dad out there, make sure that you choose your children every day. Make sure you do the best to be the best man possible for them every day. Do it for yourself, but also do it for them because they deserve it. They came into this world unencumbered, fresh, blank slates. And it's your job and your responsibility to make sure that they have all that they can have. To have the experience of life with their dad by their side, guiding them, nurturing them, helping give help, little hints and tips and stuff like that. That's one of the greatest things that you can do. It is one of the greatest responsibilities in life. Being a great partner as well. Having the responsibility to take things on your shoulders in your relationship and to say, I've got this. To take responsibility for if you guys aren't having enough sex and say, I've got this. We're going to communicate about it. I'm going to come up with fun little ideas to be able to spark romance in the bedroom. We're going to have date nights and I take responsibility for that. I'm going to communicate it because it's a two-way street. However, I've got this. In your business, things aren't going well. Not enough leads coming in. Sorry, guys. Not enough leads coming in business. Sales team isn't doing what they're supposed to be doing. Marketing's message is off. That's your responsibility. If that's your business, that's your responsibility. Or even if you're the senior of all these teams, that's your responsibility. Or even if you're in the team, that's your responsibility. Inside of your sports, say you do soccer and you're a defender. That's your responsibility to make sure that the team is cohesive. Even if you're not the captain, even if you're not the coach, that's your responsibility. If you accept responsibility for everything that happens around you, you become empowered. You become so powerful and so purposeful, and you gain this extra meaning and fulfillment in your life because you're deeply engaged with the things that are happening. We're all looking for purpose and meaning. We're all looking for something that gives us this meaning to be able to wake up the next day and say, yes, I'm ready. I'm here to tackle this. It's a burden worthy of carrying. And I just realized what time it is, guys. I've got another client now, so had to fit this one in quickly. Hope you have an amazing day. Hope you have an amazing week, and take responsibility. Provide yourself with purpose and meaning, and see how much more responsibility you can actually take in all areas of your life. Remember, those areas are health, your finances, your personal development, psychological development, in your relationships, in your vocation or your business, in your social setting. So this can be your community, this can be your country, whatever it is. And also your spirituality. Spirituality is a massive one that men just aren't looking at, especially in this postmodern, rational, material worldview that we live in. Take responsibility in all those areas, and then go deeper into all the substructures inside of those and see what happens. Have an amazing week, men. Much love, and until I see you next week. Cheers. Thank you for being with me today. Thank you for subscribing and leaving a review. It really helps us out. Until next time, take care and much love.